live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good evening and welcome to the Coeur d'Alene City Council meeting for October 17th, 2023. We'll begin this meeting noting that all council are present except for Councilor Miller, who is excused. I would like you now to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance as we pledge allegiance to the United States of America. And I would ask Councilman English to lead the pledge.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to a proclamation. And this proclamation is recognizing a very important part of our industry, and that is this month is designated to help increase public awareness of the opportunities available in construction trades. Whereas during this month, employers, libraries, associations, and schools are encouraged to conduct job fairs, panel discussions, and local community events to inform students of the vast employment opportunities in construction. And whereas the construction industry is one of the largest industries in our country, employing more than 5 million individuals, and whereas we are pleased to honor the construction trades professionals and the critical role they play in the development of North Idaho. Now therefore I, Jim Hammond, Mayor of the City of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as Careers in Construction Month in the City of Coeur d'Alene and urge all citizens to join me in this special observance. And I would ask Dale Cargill, who is the incoming president of NIBCA for 2024, and Emily Bradley to come forth and receive this proclamation. We recognize very much that this proclamation is more than just about talk. Kids need to know, as they're looking at what kind of profession they might move into, that moving into the trades can be a great way to earn a living and have a very productive life. So I thank you for bringing this forward. And if one of you cares to say a few words, I'd welcome you to do so. Thank you.
Okay, speaking to the mic, right?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members, for issuing this proclamation to declare October Careers in Construction Month. I'm Dale Cargill. I'm the incoming president. Unfortunately, our president couldn't make it due to a family issue, so lucky for you, I drove from Elk Camp here to make sure somebody represented us. Which, by the way, I got my elk too yesterday. So that's all the good fun stuff, right? We live in an amazing community that's we live in an amazing community and are part of an amazing profession here, and we're proud to receive this declaration. North Idaho Building Contractors Association has a rich history in North Idaho, and last year NIBCA celebrated our 50th year as a nonprofit, advocating for education for our community in the home and building trades. Careers in Construction Month is an important focus in our community because our building trades make up 70% of the jobs in our community. From foundations to framing and roofers to real estate, our intent is to bring awareness to the trades and to help build futures for the next generations by introducing them to the building industry as a profession. This year, NIBCA added an education stage at the Home and Garden Show to help our community gain knowledge in many areas of home and garden maintenance, and expanded the Home and Garden Show to the Sandpoint area, and that's going well as well. Last month, NIBCA proudly produced the Parade of Homes with 17 homes in Kootenai County and 4 homes in Sandpoint on display for the community to visit and interact with the industry professionals. And I do believe we had the highest attendance that we've had this year. It was quite an event. We had 16 participants in our Pet Parade of Homes project, where students in grades K through 8 worked on researching, designing, and building homes for pets of all various, from dogs to cats to fish, receiving awards and tools for their efforts. I was fortunate enough myself to have their award ceremony in my parade home this year. It was fun having the kids there. We partnered with Gizmo Coeur d'Alene on a STEM grant of over $10,000 for 3D printers and 3D printing classes to build skills and gain awareness for the 3D printing technology coming in the home building industry. Our professional women in building are hosting a class at Gizmo this Saturday to help women gain skills with tools for careers in the industry. We are assisting with hard hats, hammers, and hot dogs, a spring activity introducing high school students to be successful and find satisfying careers in the building industry. Sorry, I literally wrote this an hour ago. We are having conversations with Idaho Business in Education, North Idaho College to support further education and apprenticeships. NIBCA started a student chapter at K-Tech in Brian Davis's construction class each month. Members meet with and engage students to encourage them with the building industry culture, setting goals, and professional development. This month, members began visiting 8th grade classrooms as part of a new legislative requirement for career explorations in instruction. And we are hosting skill building activities for elementary age students through community activities such as Family Day in the Park, Rathdrum Days, Careers in Construction Day, this Saturday at our office on 4th Street. Many of our over 350 members take advantage of continuing education and conferences to build their careers in the industry. Careers in Construction Month is worth recognizing in Coeur d'Alene, and we are grateful for this honor to be able to share all that NIBCA is doing in our communities to build homes and futures in our industry. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just had a thought. I remember being in wood shop when I was in junior high school and how fun it was to learn how to put wood. And we didn't have screws in those days. We had nails and hammers, right? And I always wondered if something like this had been around then, if I would have been building houses instead of cooking dishes, washing dishes, right? But it's kind of interesting, I would think, if you were in the trades, that you could drive down a neighborhood and said, I did that roof, I built that house, and you think about all the houses you're involved in, I bet it's a pretty good feel-good thing, you know?
Absolutely. And
Participate.
you've done a lot more than just wash dishes.
Well, I'm just saying, thinking about wood, and the mayor's a wood shop guy too, so, you know, luckily we missed that bend-over stuff, right?
Yeah, well, actually, maybe I'd be a better woodshop guy if I'd had that opportunity to
Me
take
too.
those classes.
Me too. Thanks, you guys.
We next have public comment. I assume we have some folks signed up. First person signed up is Sandra Allen. Sandra Allen, okay. Casey Whalen. Good evening.
Good evening. Hope you're all well tonight. I would like to pose a question. I know that you're not allowed to answer questions, but I was going to ask Christy Wood about the status update as to the cultural diversity program that's being underway currently being underway by the Kootenai County Sheriff's Department and the Coeur d'Alene Police Department, which has been enacted for the last handful of years, but I know she won't answer that question in this forum. So I have an email here from 2020 from Christy Wood to Jeanette Laster, the director of the Human Rights Education Institute, which I acquired through public record requests through the city. And in this email to Jeanette, she states that last year, the Kootenai County Task Force on Human Relations helped secure diversity training by a highly respected trainer for the entire Sheriff's Department as a proactive program. Coeur d'Alene Police has also expressed interest in this program, or in this training, but we must now wait for COVID issues to subside. So I wanted to make that public. This was in 2020. This program was enacted in 2019 under then Sheriff Ben Wolfinger. And there's an email here from Ryan Higgins in 2019 that states that the deputies are to mandatorily participate in this cultural diversity training program that was facilitated by the then Kootenai County Task Force on Human Relations under the president, who is also city council person Christy Wood. And here's a poster of that meeting in 2019 with Dr. Raymond Reyes from Gonzaga University to teach our deputies and our law enforcement personnel on cultural diversity, again sponsored by the Kootenai County Task Force on Human Relations, implementing this social indoctrination on our community. And then as well as here's the mandatory program that all these deputies had to participate in. So I just wanted to make the public aware of this cultural diversity program that has been enacted and enforced by, or facilitated, I should say, by the Kootenai County Task Force on Human Relations. And I hope that it helps inform voters this November. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
you're right. We usually don't respond back, but we like to correct information if possible. And actually, the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department, you're welcome. They requested that the task force help them find a trainer, and we were happy to do that. So I guess that's the rest of the information. Thank you.
Diana Sheridan?
Tonight on the agenda, there are a couple action items regarding more expenditures. And my request is that when items are put onto the budget, not onto the budget, but onto the agenda to be voted on for an expenditure or something that the city's covering, it would be very helpful if these items, so like the generator and the personal services agreement, are these things that have been planned for and planned into the budget, or are these new items that are adding to further demise of our reserves? And then later on the agenda, there is an item for an emergency use of $94,000 from the general fund for a roof maintenance. And my question is, when we get to the word emergency, that usually means to me that someplace along the line, regular maintenance didn't happen. So is this something that is what I would call, we already know it's a fire quadrant. We already know that it's an emergency. So is this something that could have been handled at a less expensive amount from maintenance prior to us being in the situation where we're now spending $95,000 to repair the roof? Thank you.
And I do know when that comes up on the agenda, I think your questions will be answered.
Good.
Because there will be a presentation relative to that expenditure.
Well, good, and I appreciate being able to ask the question now, so if it wasn't something that was there, it could be, there could be an answer given. So thank you very much.
Justin O'Connell.
Good evening, Council. Agent J, Central Planning. Congratulations are in order, Mr. Mayor. The tax cattle, with their trillions of dollars, have defeated the war have succeeded in their war on terrorism. We've defeated terrorism worldwide with our trillions of dollars here. Great job, tax cattle. You defeated terrorism. There's no terrorism anywhere in the world now. However, while you were spending your trillions of dollars on the war on terror, central planning was building out two of the world's largest terrorist organizations right here on the home front, and we call them Republicans and Democrats. That's true. As you know, FEMA Region 10 here is Republican territory, and that's why you have all these Christian Taliban running around. They're the ones who think deism is an ancient Chinese dynasty. Their leaders, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, are Jesus-loving women, however, not during CrossFit sessions nor during theater productions. And you might be wondering, how can you spot Christian Taliban around town? Well, they're the ones babbling on about community standards and community values. They're the only ones who check out the porn at the library and then read it at the meetings. And they say silly, silly things, Mr. Mayor. These are very familiar if you're from California. Things like, other people's freedom to read interferes with my freedom to have life and liberty. And they also say something about solidarity and burning books. They're also our main audience for the Jesus resurgence. Central planning honed our depictions of Jesus, six-pack abs, great pecs. For the men in this modern-day Great Awakening, there's a bit of a homoerotic element. For the old women, they've never seen anyone like our new Jesus. We made Jesus a Chad. To be clear, Jesus is not a partner of central planning. No, no, no. We've had beef with his father for a very long time. We actually had Jesus killed, crucified for your sins. You're welcome. I also want to thank this community for not understanding the concept of a Nazi Mitläufer. It's not that you're the white supremacist, it's that you're the apologist for them. You're a good American. You're such good Americans. Good Americans. Good Americans. Whew. All right. Now, you might be wondering how the Christian conservatives can support and rally behind rapists and wife beaters. Well, it's because I rated and vetted all of that personally, and the women, they deserved it. Now, what's our plan? For starters, home ec. Home ec, mandatory for all the women in the region. We're going to teach all the women in the region, Mr. Mayor, to make meatloaf and other food of white people's preferences. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving on. Does the city council have any announcements?
Mr. Mayor, could this is a time just more for clarification for Mr. Tymeson, if I could indulge you real quick. There's been quite a bit of misinformation and confusion around the proposal for the cell tower that was pushed back to, or planning and zoning still has it. Could you just clarify what the steps are from here? Or Randy?
Yeah, I may defer that to legal.
The steps are simply that the city is hiring a outside expert to perform an RF analysis of the towers that is permitted by our ordinances. And that's going to take some time to do. And the next step is coming before the council with all of the information, which we believe will be in January.
Okay, and I understand council really can't engage in the conversation right now, but I'm wondering, again, for clarification, there seems to be a belief system that if council just doesn't hear this thing by January, it just happens anyway. Maybe you could clarify that.
Under FCC rules, yes, if the city does not act within a certain period of time, and the shot clock is running, that's what they call it, the shot clock, then it is deemed approved.
But it will come before us with time for public.
That is the intent, to come in January before that runs.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a follow-up question on that. So, Randy, is that a quasi-judicial hearing?
I believe so. I think that'll be a public testimony.
And
Will
what
be allowed.
happens if someone has already expressed an opinion regarding, you know, if you have someone up here who is, or who is elected to be up here, has already expressed an opinion regarding the 5G tower, then what would happen at the hearing?
they should simply identify their potential conflict. They are not disqualified from voting or debating on the issue.
Okay, but yeah, they have to be forthright and to say, here's something that I've stated this opinion about.
They should, and they should explain any evidence that they may have received
Okay.
regarding that
So
issue.
just like a land use hearing, when, if we live next to the property, we have to basically say that.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I have several appointments I seek your confirmation on, and the good news is that all these students have volunteered to serve on different commissions, and it's really wonderful to have the representatives filled and almost all of the alternates filled. So I would ask for your confirmation for Arts Commission, Adeline Smith as representative, which is a reappointment. Good for her. And Henry Depew is the alternate. Coeur d'Alene TV, Alex Pulsiver is the rep, and Emma Sharon as an alternate. Child Care Commission, Emmy Hazard as a rep, and Kenzie Thompson is the alternate. Library Board, Isla Friends is the rep, and Lola Burns is the alternate. Parking Commission, Gabriel Huel. Park and Rec Commission, Gracie Wickham, and Tyler Voorhees is the alternate. Pet Bike, we have Grayson Story is the rep, and he's a reappointment. That's really great. They're willing to do it a second time. And Alistair McIntyre is the alternate. And Urban Forestry, Sage Peterson is the rep, and Kylie Hart is the alternate. I would ask for confirmation of those appointments.
So moved.
Second.
A motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Opposed with nay. Motion carries. And before we move on, we have a group of students down here. Are you here for a class? Okay.
When is it due?
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Must
right,
be
yeah.
due soon.
That's usually when you show up.
Got a short agenda, you guys.
Picked a good meeting.
Oh, tried to find a shortage. You should have come last meeting.
Is that the hearing? Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to approve consent calendar as presented, including Resolution 23076.
Second.
Further discussion on the motion?
Well, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
so I'm just curious if this discussion was some of the items that Ms. Sheridan was talking about earlier in the budget. So we do have an item here that's for the wastewater treatment plant, and I believe that was budgeted. And then a professional services contract for the water rate study, and that was budgeted as well. So these are both items that were included in the budget. And sometimes it does bother me when there are big expenses in a consent calendar, but in this case, these items were already budgeted, so it's not anything that we're going out of. And I do appreciate it when the public notices these things and draws our attention to them as well, so thank you.
Yes.
And may I add one more thing, just as a reminder, for those items on the consent calendar that Dan just mentioned, you can go to our city website and watch the videos of those meetings, the General Services Public Works meetings, where the details are discussed and debated, and we have a staff presentation on those as another resource.
Thank you.
And
Thank you both.
just one more
Okay,
follow-up point
one
on
more
that, too.
thing.
Just that at those meetings, because that's, that's half of what we do, even though they're not very long. I mean, we have our, these are the main meetings, but we have those and other workshops. But at those, we go through and we have a full presentation, we ask questions, and then a decision is made on pretty much, I think, each item. Is it, included in consent, or should we have it as a separate item? And I think I can safely say if there's kind of any question, any doubt at all, we say, yeah, put it on the main meeting. So there's, and public can come to those too and watch them afterwards. So they don't just show up here and just get brushed over, so.
Will the clerk take the roll, please?
Wood,
Yes.
McEvers,
Yes.
Guggen,
Yep.
Evans,
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the roofing question, and we have a report by Adam Coeur, our building maintenance supervisor. Welcome, Adam.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. How are you? I'm a little behind, so I'm going to upload this really quick here.
Jeff, can you change the screen, please?
My name is Adam Coeur. I'm with the Parks and Rec Department as the Building Maintenance Supervisor, and I'm here tonight asking for council's approval to declare an emergency expense of $94,727 from the general fund to install a new TPO roof at City Hall. At the completion of the 2017 remodel, the existing roof was coated or recoated with a elastomeric coating, a white elastomeric coating over the original torch-down roof. And along the roof nearest the main public entrance here, all this shadow is ponding, and that ponding is compromising the elastomeric coating. And we do maintenance on this twice a year. Spring and fall, we clean off the roof scuppers, which are right here where the water drains down. However, that ponding is on either side of the drain, which is not allowing the water to drain properly down the roof. And I've reached out to the contractor who originally put this coating down, and he offered to put that coating down again, but with the ponding there, that just isn't going to work. So we were going to do it in-house. It's an off-the-shelf product. You can get it at any hardware store. And we were going to peel back the failed portions. As we got into it, we found that the entire fabric along that ponding area has been compromised. And here is a hole in the membrane, and that just I can put my whole arm underneath it and just go completely underneath the membrane there. So with that being said, we reached out and tried to get some other estimates to try and patch this to get by. Unfortunately, with that elastomeric, nothing seems to bond to it very well, and all of the roofing contractors that I'd reached out to pretty much said no on any sort of patchwork, especially due to the ponding, because if that patchwork failed, then the ponding would just continue underneath whatever patch they put down. In the meantime, however, I did put some Henrys down just to help try and plug the hole best we could.
What's a Henry?
Henry's is roof tar, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Roofing tar, yep, just your traditional roofing tar. So I potted the hole and feathered out the roofing tar best we could. But given the slope, and the main issue is the drainage here, is that the roof is not pitched correctly towards the drain, and this might be a little hard to see, but the roof scupper is here where the water's supposed to drain, and we have ponding on either side of it. So there's no way to get the water down the drain without rebuilding what they call roofing crickets, which is just channels to divert the water down the drain. One of the advantages with the TPO roof is that it's a membrane roof that is self-welding together with heat, or heat welded. And when or if that roofing system is installed, they can rebuild the crickets or the drain routes to get the water to slope and go down the drain correctly, and the ponding issue would be resolved. I think that's it for the slideshow. With the TPO roof, again, the drainage issue would be addressed, and that's happening on the opposite side of the roof as well. The drainage will be addressed. The new system is a 20-year manufacturer warranty and a 1-year warranty on labor. And the TPO roof is also the best roofing system for that roof we have next door over at City Hall. It's a domed roof with a slight pitch, so water and drainage is kind of an issue with that inherent style of roof. So the TPO will be the best solution for the problems that we're having there.
Questions? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Adam, so we just remodeled City Hall, like, what, 5 years ago, something like that? And was this a problem before we remodeled?
It's before my time here with the city. I can say that ponding has always been there, I'm sure. If we had any intrusions of water, there's none that I know of, but with the degradation of that elastomeric that's going on there, it's concerning how short of a lifespan they did get, or we did get out of that elastomeric coating, which is supposed to extend the life of an old roof.
And was there a warranty on that job that they did with the roof before?
When I reached out to the original contractor who put that down, he first entertained that, and then when he realized it was the ponding, he said there was no warranty on that.
That's weird. And so, is this going to fix it without us having to redo the whole roof, or is this going to just push it down the road?
This is going to resolve the issue. So the $94,727 is to have that TPO membrane roofing system installed over the entirety of the City Hall roof.
And from whence does the $94,000 come from?
That's what I'm here to ask for, as an emergency use from the general fund.
And Troy, so where would that just be? Is that fund balance? Is that savings? Can that be insurance? Where are we getting that money?
Fund balance.
Fund balance. Did we check with the insurance to see if that was something that could have been insured because it was installed wrong or anything?
It doesn't appear that it was installed wrong.
Does to me.
Okay, well.
I think the application, I think that product in that application, I'm sorry to butt in, I think that product in that application was probably not the best product to put, given the drainage issues.
And it's a flat roof. So $94,000 is not in the budget, and that's just coming out of that fund balance.
I was hoping to budget this about a year or two out to try and remedy that issue in-house on our own, but when we started peeling back and it just kept going and going, and we got down to the base of the existing roof, or the roof that's underneath it, at that point, there's really no fixing that or trying to get it along, other than the Henrys I put down or the roofing tar to get down, to try and get us through the winter.
And how long is this one going to last?
20 years. The TPO is used all over. It's been at the library. It's the primary roof over at the library. We put that, here at the library, correct. That's also over at the street shop. That's been put on the similar style roof that's slightly pitched. HREI has a TPO roof. So it's a tried and true roofing system for that roof design.
Okay, and this is just the whole roof, or this just is one part?
The whole roof.
We're doing the whole roof?
Yes. They can't bond that TPO to that membrane without the membrane continuing to fail, and then.
Okay, and so if it fails within 20 years, what happens?
Warranty work on that. It's a manufacturer warranty on the roofing system itself, and then a 1 year on the labor.
And again, there was no warranty on the other roof, on the original one?
So that, the hard part with that is that it was a coating system that somebody, I don't want to use the word system, it's a coating. You can roll it on or spray it on, it's off the shelf. It was just contracted to have that roof coated to try and get an additional 10 plus years out of it.
What would happen if we didn't do anything?
The intrusion of water getting into the building, that's the primary concern. Water damage and all of that.
And we couldn't make that an art project or anything?
I don't know if we could. Yeah, just trying to use this opportunity to try and get ahead of the snow and freeze, thaw, spring, and all of that. The Henrys is holding right now. Sorry, I keep saying Henrys, but the roof tar is holding now. There's a pond. I was up there earlier today working on an HVAC unit, and it's still ponded up there, but water isn't coming in yet. We're just trying to avoid water coming into the building.
And how quickly can they get this done, since it's weather changing?
Yeah, so our window's tight. Right now, I have a verbal from the contractor that they can get to this middle of November through middle of December. And we shouldn't have enough snow sticking around then, fingers crossed, but that's what they're holding onto a window for us for.
Okay, great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to point out that when that decision was made not to replace the whole roof last time, it was a decision made based on the fact that the roof still had some life in it. And so rather than tearing it up at that time, what we did is we got 5 more years out of that roof before it's now time to replace it. We could have done it at that time when we were remodeling City Hall, but if you can put it off for 5 years and make do with what you've got, it seems to make sense to do so. That's what I would do with my own home. So I would ask for a motion on this.
I would make a motion to approve Resolution 23077, declaring an emergency and approving the expenditure of $94,727 from the general fund to install a new TPO roofing system at City Hall.
Second.
Further discussion?
I think Dan asked every question there is. You covered it. Thank you.
I tried to. It's just, this stuff comes up, and we've dealt with this before. There was an air conditioner, I think, at the police department that needed to be replaced because they were running a sprinkler on it to keep it from blowing up. And we had the same issue in City Hall, I think, with the heating and air conditioning thing a couple of years ago. And it's like something fails before it's time. What do you do? If you can't, you have to maintain it. And we do this in my house. I mean, I have to replace something if it breaks, even though there's no money budgeted for it. And I don't like doing that. It's not frivolous, though.
Right.
So, I mean, this needs to be done, and I don't want water leaking in. Whose desk would that leak on? Do we know?
That's right over planning.
Planning.
Perfect. Central
Well.
But I think this is the time where, actually, I think we're being prudent, is that, at that time, chose to, well, we got 5 years, would have been nice if we got 10, but we need to work it out per year and the cost of that project. But now it's like, thank heavens, we noticed it now, before there's really permanent damage, and this is the time where we are, being prudent, and we're going to prevent a much bigger problem down the road. So I think, like Dan says, just like your house, stuff happens, so.
Will the clerk take the roll, please?
McEvers.
Yes.
Gookin.
Yeah.
English.
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Wood.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item before us is an exchange of real property, and that constitutes the need for a public hearing.
Good evening.
We will have a presentation to explain why we need this public hearing. Welcome, Randy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Tonight I bring before you the second of a two-part process to transfer real property owned by the city to Costco Wholesale Corporation in exchange for a perpetual easement and $30,000. As a reminder, here's an overall picture of the Costco site located at 355 East Niter Avenue. Of course, the building in the upper left-hand corner was the old Black Sheep building and is no longer there. The piece of property we are concerned with was created by the original plat for the Costco property back in 2003. This odd jog in the property line that goes like this was intentional at the time. It exists between the two entrances from Niter into the Costco lot, and the sole purpose for the city retaining this section of property was to accommodate stormwater from Niter Avenue. Costco also uses that property for stormwater from its property. In 2003, the city had entered into a 20-year lease for this property with Costco so that both the city and Costco could use it for stormwater. Pursuant to this lease, Costco was paying the city the sum of $50 per year. So the city, when this was developed, wanted to keep this under city ownership during the development in order to accommodate the stormwater from Niter. But as was indicated in the original lease, which was provided to you at the September 19th meeting, it had always been the city's intent to exchange this property for another piece of property. This again is the city's engineering diagram of how that stormwater swale works with respect to water coming off of Niter. The exchange of property will not change how this stormwater is treated. The use will remain the same. Costco does have the option of asking to relocate the stormwater swale if at some point they decide they would like to use that area of property, but they have to cooperate with the city in relocating that to the city's to the city's standards. This is a street view of that cattail pond. There is no use for it at this point other than for stormwater. On September 19th of this year, City Council declared the value of this property to be $30,000 based on an appraisal, and stated its intention to exchange the city's fee interest in this property for a perpetual easement. In addition, Costco has agreed to pay the city the $30,000 value of the property. The action by council was published in the paper as required by statute. Tonight, this is the public hearing for the actual exchange. If council agrees to go through with the exchange, the city will enter into 2 agreements with Costco, a purchase and sale agreement and a perpetual easement. Accordingly, staff recommends that council agree to the exchange of its fee interest in the subject property for a perpetual easement and a cash payment of $30,000, and second, to authorize the mayor to sign the 2 agreements. I stand for questions, if there are any.
Questions? Dan?
Thank you. So we have the psychic thing going.
I noticed that.
Randy, this happened to me when I lived in the county. So I had a pond on the property, and it had cattails on it, and I wanted to get rid of the cattails. So I contacted the state, and they told me I couldn't do it because it's wetlands. Is this wetlands?
I have to be careful about this.
Yeah.
It may be.
So-
But once it becomes Costco's
It'd be their
property, it
problem.
becomes their issue.
So if they wanted to move it, theoretically, they would have to deal with the state to
They
decide.
might have to deal with the state.
Good, let's get rid of it.
Further questions?
Well, Mr. Mayor, we had a long presentation on this topic before, so thank you, Randy.
Okay. With that, then, I will open the public hearing. And we have one person wishing to testify, Diana Sheridan.
And I choose to pass.
Okay. Thank you. No one else wishing to testify, I'll close the public hearing. Any further comments from you, Randy?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So,
I would move, Mr. Mayor, to approve Resolution 23078, which is approving a land exchange with Costco Wholesale Corporation and authorizing the mayor to sign a purchase and sale agreement and easement.
Second.
motion second, further discussion?
And we're going to get 30,000 cash, not in gift cards, right?
Yes.
But it might be a check.
Chicken.
Thank you.
Yeah, good clarification there.
Yeah.
Dan. Further discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk take the roll, please?
McEvers,
Yes.
Gookin,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
there is no more business. I would like to move to adjourn.
You move to adjourn?
Moving to adjourn.
Second.
You have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor respond with aye.
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 Those with nay, motion carries. We are adjourned.